Peace. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of Space Invaders TV. It is April April the 2nd, 2023, and I want to tap in and speak about these the gun laws. Um, as we all been seeing, you know, month after month. Sometimes it's been like twice out of a month we're seeing these mass shootings in schools, churches, malls, like whatever, wherever. It's like you can't go anywhere today. It's you gotta like keep your head on a swivel, and because today it's just so like outrageous with these mass shootings, these assault rifles, the use of assault rifles, um, and they're being in the hands of young adults, some teenagers, and you wonder, it's like what are you doing with these type of weapons, you know, assault rifle. That's something like I mean, you're not going to war, you shouldn't have it, and that's just my opinion. Um, but we're gonna go through. We're gonna talk about some things here, and I'm not saying your views have to be my views and any of that, but it's a situation, that shall be talked about. Um, so right now, I wanna speak about something right now, and I'm gonna just go through something from Wikipedia.com, right? .org, okay? Sorry. Wikipedia.org. Listen. Gun laws in the United States vary considerably by state and are independent of existing federal firearms laws, although they are sometimes broader or more limited in scope than the federal laws. Some states and localities require that a person obtaining a license or permit in order in order to purchase or possess firearms. Some states and localities require that individual firearms be registered with the police department or law enforcement agencies. In 2021, 33 states and Washington, D.C. allowed people to carry a concealed firearm if they have a state permit. 17 states place no restriction on carrying a concealed firearm. Open carry, in contrast, refers to bearing visible arms in public places. In 2021, 42 states allow for open carry of some or all firearms. All right, so I'm gonna stop that right there, and I just want to go in and I want to say every state, my opinion, every state in this country should fall under, and the federal government should put mandates in place in every state in this country, in the United States, shall fall under the same guidelines, same rules and regulations. We can't, you know, they call the United States for a reason, you know, um, and every state has their own laws and the way that they do things. But we're seeing something right now. We're in a state of emergency. There is an epidemic going on, and we have all around this country. We've been experiencing from the West Coast to the East Coast to the Southeast to the Midwest to the Northwest of the country, the Southwest of the country, um, the Northeast of the country. If I didn't say that already, um, we're experiencing these mass shootings. It doesn't matter where you at in this country. Um, there's a state in Pacific places in the country, like I just said, that has experienced these mass shootings, whether it been schools, whether it been in a mall, whether it been in churches, uh, or just standoffs with the police on parking decks, all types of situations. And it's a time now that I feel like the federal government needs to put, you know, these mandates and guidelines in place, and they must be followed. We, especially, you know, like I said, we're losing children in schools to this children not even, just like the situation that just happened in Nashville. Like you, you losing innocent children, man. That's not even haven't even experienced life, man. And it's just ridiculous. And if we can't protect the babies, as I've said previously before, like if we can't protect the babies, then who can we protect? Okay, who can we protect? Um, and no, guns don't hurt people. The wrong people with guns hurt people. Some of us know folks who aren't even mature enough. They're not even mature enough to hold a license, a driver's license. They're not even mature enough to uh, uh, just, live on their own. They're not mature enough. They don't even think mature, you know. And I mean, we all contest to this. I don't care. We know the young adults. We know teenagers, young teenagers. We know that they're still young. They're still trying to figure it out. They all think that they know it all. We were like that as well, and we didn't know jack squat. Okay, so I'm not at this moment. I'm not talking about them, but we know adults. Let's say I'll go from mid-20s on up that act like that act like they're still a child. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you are your mother's child or whatever. But I'm saying they still have the mentality of a child. They still think immature. Um, they're not they're not capable enough to to handle certain situations. And then you give someone like that who can't function under pressure, period. Like they have a problem with they're having a problem with functioning under pressure, um, thinking before reacting. And I'm just at this moment I'm talking about sane minds, okay? That people that just action first and they think later, like, oh my God, I fucked up. You know what I mean? Instead of thinking first, stepping back, breathing, and think about some things first. A lot of us sometimes some things take over us that to the point that yeah, we sometimes we do lose it because it could be those times. It could be times that it's just one of those weeks for you. It could be one of those days, and you just feel like so much things are bearing down on you that sometimes it don't take nothing but a small thing for you to for you to just snap. Okay, so we take that up a notch, and then we think about someone that's dealing with that's having a mental health crisis, and you put guns in the hands of those folks. And let's say that they didn't. This is a day that somebody tipped them off, and they didn't take their medication, or they just don't like taking their medication. But guess what? They have they have a license to pretty much to carry and carry to bear arms. Okay, and you put somebody that's dealing with a mental uh, health crisis, you put a gun in their hand. You might as well just say bye bye to anybody you may know. You know what I mean? Because that's what you're pretty much doing. Because at any given point, you know what I'm saying, at some point they can go off. Those are the wrong people that should not have guns. People that, and I feel like if anybody walks into a arms dealer and that arms dealer feels like something's not right with that person, they should automatically not sell to that person. Um, and if they do, they should be held accountable. Okay, see, it's a lot of things that need to go into play with these gun laws, and I know some people may say, "Well, yeah, they do it in my state, or they do." I'm saying, federal wise, this should be across the nation. If you sell a gun to someone without checking their mental health records or whatever, now I know there might be some people that fall up under, like, they might not, they may have never been diagnosed. They may have never ever had, you know what I mean, they're, that exposed. That, but we're taking the initiative and still check. You know what I mean? We can't account for those folks as you don't know. But if you do check, you will find, because all of these mass shooters, they all had some mental health issues or was dealing in a crisis. And now I know there was a law put in place, and I haven't even heard anybody doing it. Even in North Carolina, state of North Carolina, they were to run people's uh, mental health records, pull their records, and see if they had any issues. But as of late, especially since when COVID kicked, I haven't even heard of it. You haven't even heard of any of that talk. Okay, and I think that's the problem. Like, that's one of the problems. We need to start, not only just, you can't just background check folks, just doing criminal background checks. You need to do a full background. Let me just explain something to you guys. I'm in the transportation business, right? All right, the trucking business, right? Now, in trucking, to get your CDLs, there's a few things you got to go through. One is taking a test. Taking the, I can't say written anymore because it's really computerized. Taking the test on a computer at the DMV. Going to school, getting actual training behind the wheel. Okay, and with all of that, before all of that, well, if you're going to a school, if you're going to a school, you're gonna get your background check across the country, across the nation. You're gonna get your background check, okay, by the feds, everything. They're gonna run your record, and on top of that, if you haul hazmat materials, uh, every how does it go? Every 2 to 3 years, you get, you have to get your fingerprints or whatever, right? And so you run your fingerprints. That's through the feds, and they want to make sure you're not, TSA. It's a TSA check, pretty much what they call it. All right. So what I'm saying is, in a nutshell, to drive a truck, to be a truck driver, you have to go through those things. You have to get those things. If you want to haul hazmat materials and you want to have your hazmat endorsement, you have to get your TSA check, okay? And they're going to run you there too. So what I'm saying is, To drive a truck, you have to go through these things and getting background checks of that nature, right? Um, why don't we think the same thing? The federal government has their hand in the trucking business as well. They regulate the trucking business. Okay. Um, I feel like they should be regulating the gun laws a lot better than what they do. Okay, they should have that same energy, the energy they have for the trucking industry. They should have the same energy with them gun laws. You know, they with trucking they tightened up over the years because you had so many companies breaking laws and having drivers breaking laws by driving over their hours or driving for like back in the 80s and stuff like that in the 70s and 60s. Drivers can drive whatever they wanted, but then late 80s, early 90s, you start hearing a lot of trucks rolling over and a lot of accidents because drivers weren't getting enough sleep and everything. And so the government stepped in and they put all these regulations and you have to have computer onboard computer systems on your truck to mandate your logs, your driver logs. Not to mandate, but to regulate your driving time with drive logs, and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So what? That's what the federal government. The federal government is always fine tuning the trucking industry. They always doing something, you know, every year. They're doing something. So I say that to say, you know, why when we talk about guns, and that's a they say driving, having a license is a privilege, which it is, and having and able to get your license to get a gun, that's also a privilege. You know what I mean? To so I think we need to, as a country, it needs to be handled a lot better, a lot better. It's too many. It's too many children at that. People in general being sacrificed out here and losing their lives, all because there's not stiffer laws. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have the right to bear arms. I think every household in America, you should have a gun. You should be able to protect your home if anything else. You know what I mean? So I don't take that, but long as you're a law-abiding citizen, yes, I believe you should. You know, you should be able to. All I'm saying is we need to have stiffer laws and everything, and it should be accountability all around the board. The same way, if someone, even just because you have your permit and everything, your license to bear arm and all of that, there's still rules you have to follow within that. So if you break those rules just because you have your license and everything, that's not gonna you're not exempt from the law. You know what I mean? So it's still laws and everything you have to follow. You know, and if you break them, then you will still find yourself in jail, regardless of what. Because still, you just can't go out here shooting people because you think you have a license to carry. Okay, so if we doing all of that, if you still gotta follow the laws and within, just because you have your license, that doesn't stop you. That doesn't mean you're above the law or any of that. Then we need to really tighten and clamp down on this thing because we just, like I said, we just losing too many people. We're losing innocent people, and it just doesn't make any sense. And it's like you keep doing you know how the saying goes, you're doing the same thing looking for different results. If you keep practicing, if you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, that's insanity. You know, and you're never changing anything. It's like you just keep doing the same thing and nothing changes. When are we gonna change some things here? What is it that I mean? Everything has happened. When you you have people running up in schools, innocent children are getting killed, churches where people are are praying, people are in the house of worship. They are. It is out of control. Okay, what what else do what else is needed to be seen, you know? And once again, it goes back to what I said. A lot of folks that have these weapons, they are dealing with, they have been in mental health crisis. And I guarantee, if there was if there was the stiffer law in place to everybody, all these arms dealers, if you sell a gun, you don't only get the criminal background, you do the mental health check, background check. You get those records pulled. The sheriff's departments get those records pulled. It don't matter how long it's gonna take, however long or whatever it's gonna take. If somebody wants the license, this is what they're gonna have to do. You know, if they or permit or what have you, this is what you're gonna have to do. This is gonna have to be done. If you don't do it, then you don't get it. And everybody has to be held accountable. Like I said, the same way the gun, even though a gun owner has a permit or whatever, you're still going to be held accountable if you do not follow the laws. If someone sells the gun, you need to be held accountable if you don't go through the proper chain of checking everything. The sheriff departments too. If you gave up that permit or whatever, and and check everything, you know, that needs to be checked, criminal and the medical, for mental health. Check that background, you know, because these people are coming in and getting again. They're not only that, they're getting assault rifles. What do you need assault rifle? Now, my thing when it comes to assault rifles, this is just my opinion. This is not, you know what I mean. I don't think I don't think the average person needs to. I don't know what you need an assault rifle for. You know what I mean? That's just my thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what do you who are you who are you planning to go to war with? And when folks are getting assault rifles, I think there should be a brow should be raised on, like, what do you know? As I just think sometimes with this bearing arms, a lot of people they take they take this thing to the extreme. Well, I can get whatever I want. Yeah, you can, but what do you need it for? You know, what do you need it for? What do you when are you gonna really use that? Or do you have a real plan for when you're gonna use it? That's all I'm saying. Like, you got a plan when you're gonna use that thing. Who are you gonna use it on? You know what I mean? Or you just want to have it just to say you have it. You know, we gotta start paying attention, because it's only not only that, and it gotta be the laws gotta be put in place. Because not only that, you having people with mental health illnesses. They're purchasing. They got permits to bear arms, licenses to bear arms, and then they getting assault rifles. Come on, man. And we seeing everything that's going on time and time across this country. And when you see the footage of some of these incidents, like that, what happened in Buffalo, what happened and I'm just talking about the most recent, when you got what happened in Nashville. You get to you get to see some of this stuff doesn't even look real, the way these people, like, it looks like a video game. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even look real. They're like, these folks are just they just jumping out, gunning down innocent people who are unaware of what's going on and catching people off guard. It has to be something seriously wrong with you up top for you to just do that to people who hadn't even done anything to you. You know, it has to be some stiffer laws put in place, man. That's all I'm saying, and enough is enough of it. Too many people bring sacrifice. Um, when it comes to, and I'm just reading off some of my notes because I don't want to miss anything. When it comes to like the gun laws, executive government must stop acting ignorant and don't, like I said once again, and don't just do criminal background. Don't have these states just do criminal background checks. They must do mental health background checks. Um, and that's just it. You have to do it. You have to do it. Now I know, and it makes it look bad for the responsible, the responsible um, gun owners. It makes it look bad, you know, uh, when you have these incidents, and then I know that there's a lot of people that's anti-gun. They not with it, they're not with it for whatever reason, and that's their belief and that's their right to not to be against arms. But I think a lot of that too. It will help, though it may help some that are against it, because many may have fallen into the category of being against the guns. It's because of all this what's been happening. And then we know that there's a black market for, like, guns being distributed illegally, you know, around the country, and that's another battle. That's another combat. That's something else that that's going on around certain cities and states, and you having murder rates up because you know guns are being sold like black market. You know what I mean? And I mean that's just not no secret. Everybody know about that. You know what I'm saying? Like most people know about that, especially if you come from larger inner cities. And again, then what you having is people, you getting young kids in these cities, and even adults who aren't legally able to bear arms. They're out here shooting, and then innocent people are getting shot too. You know why? Because they're not even trained. They don't even know how to shoot. They think they know how to shoot. Most of them, they don't even know how to shoot. Where are you practicing at? But they're not. They're practicing on people, in real time, and then they want to shoot here, and then they're shooting somebody. Their aim ain't even right. So that's a whole nother, and that's a whole nother battle that is being fought through around the country as well. But but the things that the government and the states need to get together on is being under the same laws, because you have a lot of states around this country, as I said early on, have been affected by a mass shooting. Some more than some states more than others. Been affected, and it needs to be stiffer laws. Because like I said, once again, the guns, the, the the guns aren't the problem. The people who hold the weapon is the problem. The people who are getting their hands on them are the problem. Some of the people who are getting their hands on them are the problem. They're not they're not mentally capable of, and like I said, it don't even have to be a mental you don't even have to it don't even have to be a person with a mental health crisis, or mental illness. Okay? To bear arms, you need to be responsible. You need to be a responsible, mature minded person. You need to be a person that knows how to think first before reacting. You just can't go and have a gun, and the first time somebody ticks you off, that's the first thing you're doing is pulling your gun, or you want to showboat around and let everybody know you. Oh yeah, look at me, I got a weapon. That's not, what you're doing for many is you're provoking. That's kind of like provoking that may provoke someone to try you. You know what I mean? If you personally ask me, but that's my opinion. Okay. To me, the element of surprise is always the best. I don't want nobody to know what I got. Or what I have, I should say. I wouldn't want nobody to know. Element of surprise. Okay. But to each his own. To each his own. That's your right. If you're able to bear the arms, that's your right. That's just my opinion. And like I said, some people are just not mature. I mean, you have full grown adults in their 40s, 50s. They're still immature. We know them. We know of those type of people. That they're still immature. And they can't. They're not even they're not even mature enough to hold a driver's license. Okay, they've doing a lot of immature things with having a driver's license in the vehicle. Okay, so to then have a permit and have a gun, it's like, okay, so we doing this too. It's just like, all right, you know. So those are things that I just want to think about. And it's things that you know that the government, it's time for the government. It's been time that you have to step up the same way, like I said, in the transportation, the trucking business, that the government has their grip on the trucking industry. The same way they need to have the same energy when it comes to these guns, because they look at a truck as a weapon. A truck driver going down the road, if you hit someone from tailgating them, you will go to jail, no questions asked, and you're going to do time. If you just They look at a truck, a tractor, trailer, they look at it as a weapon. They will look at it as a weapon because it's a big piece of machinery. You rolling down the highway with about 75 to 80 feet, not depending on the tractor, 90 feet of straight fiberglass and steel. You're rolling down the highway with that, okay? And if you hit someone and it was your fault, it ain't gonna be, it ain't gonna be like you in your regular four wheeler and you just hit someone from the back. If you hit someone from the back in the truck and you kill them or anything like that, even if they were to get seriously injured, you're gonna go to jail. If it was something that you could have prevented, because tailgating is a no-no, and I just use that. Um, if you just went bonkers behind the wheel in a truck and just said, and you, cause, and you just took out a bunch of vehicles, yeah. And like I said, and even that, having that type of license, that's the highest license. A CDL is the highest license you can have when it comes to motor vehicle. That's the highest license you can have. Speaking on a motor vehicle on the road, okay, and you have to be very mature. You need to be mature to have that. And then, are there immature drivers out here? CDL carry? Yes, they are. Yes, there are. There are reckless. There are some reckless drivers that are out here as well too. They know who they are. You know, and maybe some of them don't, and that makes it worse. But you are held to a higher standard as a CDL driver. They look at you. You are classified as a professional driver, so you are supposed to. Um, you're held to a higher standard. You know what I mean? So what the laws are going to be, it's going to be a stiffer penalty for you than it would be for just a regular driver license carrier. You know, you're held to that standard whether you're behind that truck or not, or even in your personal vehicle, motorcycle, you driving, whatever it is, you have that stamp on your license as a CDL carrier, you're held to a higher standard. And, you just look that different. Whether you knew it or not, if you're a CDL carrier and you didn't know that, hello, I'm here to tell you. So, once again, carrying a weapon, you need to be mature. You need to be you need to be able to think before reacting. You need to be you need to have like patience. You need to have you 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 anybody shouldn't just be able to carry a gun. Okay, and but we have people out here who have them that shouldn't have them. And some that haven't even committed a crime with them. Some as of yet, but that shouldn't even have them. They shouldn't even have them. Because I've talked to many folks that I know that has weapons as well, and they shouldn't have them. They shouldn't have them because they're gonna hurt themselves or someone. From making a foolish decision, poor decision making. Some people just I've noticed and had conversations with people, and some people just because it's their right. Some people just want to carry the guns because it's their right, and they really don't. They really don't understand the seriousness of it. They just feel like, oh yeah, I want to protect. They don't understand the seriousness of it. Like, you're still under laws. You're not above the law because you're able to carry. You still have laws you have to abide by, and if you break them, you will find out that just because you have a permit to get a gun or whatever, that shit ain't mean nothing. You know what I mean? Break the law, and you will find out real quick. You know. So yeah, that's just my time, folks. I wanted to tap in and talk about that. Oh, and before I leave, I wanted to talk about also just to tap in because I don't know how many other states have it like this, but like I just want to break down like NC, North Carolina, they passed the new gun law, right? So you can purchase you can purchase a gun now without you don't have to go to the sheriff department and get the permit or whatever to buy a gun. You can go to the dealer and you can go to the dealer and get the gun without even having your without having a permit or whatever or yeah, without having that permit. You could go to a dealer. You don't have to go to the sheriff department and get your you know um the permit and none of that. You could go right to the dealer, right? But I say that to say this. Some people saying, "Oh yeah, well that's good. I don't got to go to sheriff." No, because the dealer's still gonna run your background, and they're gonna do it through the feds. So they're gonna still run your background. Um, and if you're not permitted to carry, if you are a felon, that don't mean that you can just, oh, I ain't gotta go. No, no, you still gonna get checked by by the dealer who wherever you go to purchase your firearm from, they're still gonna run your record, and it's gonna be ran through the feds. That's for here in North Carolina. I don't know how it's all going in the other states. Look up your gun laws in your said states, and you're able to purchase. You can purchase from somebody from a private seller, like just say for instance, like your neighbor had a gun and he's selling it, he or she's selling it, and you're able to purchase from your neighbor, and that and make not an illegal purchase like you buying hot guns. I mean, like So, like you're buying from a upstanding, law-abiding uh, gun owner, private owner. And but the best thing to do, even talking to a couple of buddies and stuff, even talking about that, and it made a lot of sense. They like, yeah, I if I sold a gun, I would do it in front of a dealer. Go to a dealer and sell it. If I'm selling it private, like I want to sell my gun to you, we will go to a dealer, you know, and to an arms dealer, and we'll sell it. We'll sell it at the gun store, and so now you have a witness showing you. It's sort of like if you ever sold a car and like you went and you signed your title over, and you got someone there notarizing it. You got somebody witnessing it. Same kind of deal. You taking that gun out of your name and you putting it in this. You giving it to this person. The arms dealer is there witnessing this, and they can handle the paperwork, taking it out of your name. Now it's in that person's name you sold it to. So let's say, for instance, God forbid, this person, the person you first sold it to, they turn around, they sell it to somebody, and then that somebody goes and does a crime with that weapon. If you wouldn't have done it the right way, you could kind of that could kind of come back on you because those numbers are registered to you. You know what I mean? So that made sense to me about that be the right way to do it. If you're a private seller, if you're doing a private gun sale, to do it in front of a arms dealer, and therefore you doing the paperwork, you getting it out your name, and you have a witness there, and you're clear of that firearm. So that made one heck of a lot of sense to me. So in North Carolina, you're able to do that. Um, what else here? Yeah. So that was about it. So don't think like, you know, that is the new law for North Carolina, for North Carolinians. Like that don't mean like if you know you're a felon, that don't mean that you could just, oh yeah, you could go get a gun now from a nah. Cause you go to the dealer, you don't gotta go to the sheriff department no more, and pay the money to get your permit on it. No, they're still gonna run it when you go to a dealer. You can go to a dealer and do whatever, but they're still gonna run you when you go there, and they doing it through the feds. So like from my understanding and from what was said, the sheriff departments were just doing it straight sheriff department, but the feds, they now you go to a dealer, they're said to do it. They're supposed to do it, get it checked through the feds. So that's gonna be the same from here on out. We're all of us who are, what I mean, gonna gonna be or exercise our rights to bear arms. We'll see how those things, how that plays out, if it's really going to go down like that when you go to the dealer, or are they only gonna be running through the sheriff's department in the state. We'll find out. But like I said, you whatever state you in, if you're not for sure your laws, check your check your laws and how your laws play. Like I know how Florida pretty much, Florida's open carry. North Carolina's open carry as well. Many of the southern states are open carry. You know, but yeah, um, just check your state's gun laws and see how everything fares out for your state, how they plan it. But my whole thing is, I just feel like the federal government needs to regulate, put a strong hold on these gun laws, and every state across this country should follow them guidelines because most of the states in this country have experience with these mass shootings. Some states, Excuse me, folks. Some states had more mass shootings than others. You know what I mean? Um, but it's becoming an epidemic. Okay, it is an epidemic. It's just happening all over the place. Okay, and it needs to have some control over it. And you're having people that have health, mental that are dealing with mental illness. They are going and purchasing assault rifles, not just handguns, assault rifles, and going out here. We have to put a stop. We have to stop what we can. And like I said, no, we can't stop. If someone never was diagnosed with a mental illness, yeah, you're not gonna know. But if someone, but if you're being proactive and we're checking these things like that, and just not checking criminal backgrounds, and you're checking that mental health record, you can possibly stop. That's gonna that's gonna stop them. At least we know they're not gonna get it the way they get it. The way that, they're not just gonna be able to walk in and think they're gonna get these guns no more, and you're dealing with a mental illness. You're not gonna. It's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So that's my time, folks. Drop a comment. Let me know how y'all feel. Like I said, some of the things that I said, that's just some of them is my opinion. I'm not expecting nobody to my opinion is their opinion now. That's some of what I said is my opinion on how I believe things go. I don't think that I think everyone should have the right to bear arms. Oh, and another thing about I'm hearing about the whole thing with the schools and having teachers. Yeah, I feel when it comes to the school system, I was against this 2 years ago. But as we continue to keep seeing these uh, shootings in the school and folks not being targeted like this and just being like sitting ducks, we have to be able to protect our children in some way. And if someone knows, like, hey, I go to this school, it's a possibility all of these teachers are carrying. So I'm gonna have a problem if I go in here and I think I'm just going, to shoot up a whole school. No, you're gonna have a problem. So I feel like, yeah, now today, with all of this continue to happen, I feel like yes, teachers should and faculty members should in schools should be able to bear arms in the schools. I just make sure that they're getting the adequate training that they need to get. I just feel like they should make sure a teacher is at least monthly putting in a certain set hours of training with their weapon. I believe that should be implemented through the states where they have something set up for teachers who bear arms, to have some sort of training, um, and like some trainers are set up, either it be with the police departments in their cities or counties or things of that nature, like someone really just coming in, because you need that protection in these schools, because there's too many incidents. And I feel like, me personally, and nobody should be able to come on school grounds with a weapon. I don't give a flying hoot. Like, you're not the faculty and the staff member. If you're not like the security SRO or whatever, you should not be on school grounds with a weapon. And if you're caught with it, it should be a straight up federal charge. And the reason why I say that is because, like, when you look at the things with these schools, with the school systems, they're funded by the state. The states are funded by the U.S. government for education. So, in a sense, this is federal. You know what I'm saying? When you start dealing, this is federal funds are funding these schools. Okay, whether you want to believe it or not. Okay, the federal funds are funding these schools around the country. Okay, and I just believe that if anybody comes on the school grounds and they're not authorized, if we're going to allow teachers, faculty, and staff members of these schools to carry anybody other come on those school grounds, unless certain states are putting things into play, or unless the federal government says, hey, all right, anyone's allowed to walk on the school. Now, I don't think you should come on the school grounds with any weapons if you're not an educator and you're just not faculty and staff member of that school. I don't think you should be able to come on school grounds. Now, how do we play this when we start to talk about sports events? So are we saying we're gonna allow the coaches to walk around with guns on the football fields, on the basketball courts, on the baseball fields, on the soccer fields, at swim meets? What? How would that be regulated? I guess that's a conversation. Uh, that's another conversation. We gotta figure that we can't get too crazy with it. We had we had a sporting event and you seeing that, like we there to watch the game and watch them play the game. You don't want to see that the entire game. A coach walking up and down the field, he got the mic pack the mic hooked up to him here and the gun on his hip. It's a little extra, man. Like I don't know, like so, but I'm just saying, like thinking about those things, or you go to the basketball game and you watching the coach walk up and down the sidelines of the court on the court with a gun on his hip. That's a little extra. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. You let me know what you guys think. I just want to talk about this subject, man, because and having an open mind with it, because I know there's some people that are just against guns, they're anti-gun, and hey, that's their prerogative. That's that's how they feel, and they have the reason to feel that. I'm not knocking anybody who's against it. I'm not knocking you if you pro gun. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just trying to make sense of it all and be fair, because I think that we all, if we have the right to bear arms, I believe every household, you know, if you're not a felon or anything like that, you should be able to bear arms and protect yourself, protect your family. I think you have the total right to do that. You should have the total right to do that and exercise that, but be mature about it, you know, and everything. Um, but that's my time, folks. Let me know what y'all think. Chime in, leave a comment. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Make sure to share this. It costs you nothing, and this is what it's about. Just having those conversations about uh, the world, local, and national events that we see uh, around our neighborhood, our cities and states, around the country, and out of the country. Just those serious conversations that need to be had, and just getting the perspective of everybody. This is the non-judgment. I'm not judging anybody. If as you see comments left on any of my topics, I'm not bashing anyone. Sometimes I don't even chime in on them, because this is for us, for the people to communicate and to have those talks. And this is not about someone bashing the next person for how they feel. We're not doing that here on this channel. So yeah, thanks for your time, folks. Talk to you next time. It's your guy Rashawn, and this is Space Invaders TV. I'm out.